The purpose of Safety Links is to provide the public with general safety-related information covering the home, businesses, and community with emphasis upon senior citizen-related issues, drawing upon existing programs currently being offered by federal, state, and local agencies. A broad-based, multifaceted array of subjects will be covered. In addition, contact information will be offered to those seeking direct help or support. And now, on with today's topic.
Hello, I'm Tom Hayes, and I'm here with a special edition of Safety Links, where we're talking about Sandy recovery. With me is a special guest, Ted Gooding, who is the president and CEO of Ocean Inc. And he is also the chair of the Ocean County Long-Term Recovery Group, and we will be talking about Sandy recovery. So welcome. Welcome, Ted. Appreciate your being here with us. I've known you with being involved with Ocean Inc. and New Jersey Natural Gas Company for many years with our energy assistance programs, Gift of Warmth and the like. And your group has always done a wonderful job. You have a great staff and really a stellar organization.
Thank you very much.
And on top of all those wonderful things you do with Ocean Inc. On a day-to-day basis, now since the Superstorm Sandy, you've taken on this role as chair of the Ocean County Long-Term Recovery Group, which I know is a lot of work. I happen to serve on that committee as well, and it's a pleasure working with you on that. But
thank you.
There's a lot involved with that, and again, I don't know how you wear all these hats, but you do wear them well.
Thank you.
And so I had a couple of questions for you I wanted to talk to you about. In relationship to that, maybe you can let our audience know a little bit about what goes on with the long-term recovery. So first question is, who is the leadership, the executive board, and affiliate members of the Ocean County Long-Term Recovery Group?
We have Eileen Cohen, who works with Youth Services, Linda Giamatti from United Way. I'm Ted Gooding, of course, and that pretty much comprises our executive committee. We have various nonprofits from throughout the county who are participating agencies that work with us, from Catholic Charities, Red Cross, Habitat for Humanities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's 9 different groups that we oversee within our committees, and they are responsible for steering us in the direction to best help our families and our citizens throughout Ocean County.
Right, and those committees are like the case management and donation committees, right, and volunteer committees, construction,
yeah.
and all that. So
yeah.
I know there's an awful lot that goes into the long-term recovery group.
It's phenomenal.
It sure is. Now, what would you say is the mission and the role of the long-term recovery group?
Our primary mission is to try to have families not only get through the maze of getting through the insurance issues or FEMA or SBA, homeowners insurances, to help them get back on their feet. And whereas many families are trying to mitigate that system currently, we are there to not only offer support, but guidance and assistance in helping them meet the needs of their families and provide whatever funding we can as well after those other parties have been exhausted, i.e. FEMA, SBA, homeowners insurance. Our goal and mission is to get families back in their home. One of the largest gaps that we find right now is families in rentals and seniors. And they are having significant issues in trying to not only navigate the system, but get enough resources together to get them back in their homes where they can. And so there are issues all surrounding those kinds of things. And this is not a short-term issue. This is a long-term issue. And one of the most difficult tasks that we have is trying to convince our citizens that patience is the key to success in this regard, because none of these things that we're trying to get through will happen today. This will happen over a period of time. It could take from 1 to 5 years before some of these families get back in their homes, depending on where they live. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the redesigning of the areas and the maps that have been released and the governor's position on the V zones and what have you, it makes it very difficult for us to assure folks that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But we also know that if the track is paved and the faith is there, that we will get through this together.
Right.
And that's the goal of the LTRG.
Absolutely. And, again, being involved with the group as well, I do know that, the initial reaction is people want funding immediately. People want everything taken care of immediately. And, of course, as members of the group, we'd like to help everybody immediately. But in order for it to be done right, as you said, it does take time, and things have to be put together correctly. And the long-term recovery group is really based on all volunteer efforts. all folks representing wonderful organizations that do a great job all on their own. But when we come together in this way, we're all volunteers trying to help make this process work smoothly. And we're taking guidance from organizations like FEMA and all that to help us, you know, so we're not recreating the wheel again, but we certainly want to create the wheel that really works best for our community. And certainly Ocean County was hit very hard, so we want to make sure we do this right, and I know you're a great leader and certainly pushing us in that direction, which is great.
Well, that's our goal. Our goal is to get our county back on its feet. Our human capital is essential to continued growth in recreation community like Ocean County. And when you look at the number of renters and seniors that were impacted, 30% of the families that were impacted by the storm were renters. 30% were seniors. Of course, then the 60% were homeowners. Doesn't mean they were not making a significant contribution to the growth and economics of our community. So in order to get that back online, there's a lot of work that we need to do. And there are a lot of resources we need, government, federal, local, volunteers, and everyone else who wants to lend a hand in getting us to the point where our families become self-sufficient again. Right. And that's our overall goal and mission. I mean, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do as an LTRG.
Right.
Working with all the nonprofits, all the providers, all the funders, and we've had significant funding outcomes and outpouring over the last 6 or 7 months. To the extent that although it's not enough, it certainly will help us get started in trying to make that recovery worthy and one in which our families and citizens can be proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, who provides the funding for the long-term recovery group?
Well, primarily we've reached out to several foundations. Robin Hood has been a significant funder for our program at $2.5 million. United Way, New Jersey Natural Gas, Wells Fargo Bank, Ocean First, Ocean Federal, and other small green shirts, we call them the green shirts, come in and have given us money. And some of the local charities have given us money as well, PBA, Ocean, and you know other groups, as I said, banks that have come forward to give us money to help this cause. And we certainly appreciate their efforts. I mean, they've humbled us in many ways to know that we have folks who care about how we go forward within our community that are local people.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, folks that have been affected by Superstorm Sandy, how do they come to get funding and assistance through the long-term recovery group?
We have an application process. Our webpage is now open, oceancounty.ltrg.org, and they can go through that to get it. They can go through through the Red Cross or Catholic Charities to access our programs as well through their case management. And then once that's determined and we determine the extent of their needs, then we will do what's called an assessment. Based on that assessment and all the other resources that they've exhausted, we will then determine as to how much we can help them, how we can help them, or whether we can help them at all.
Right.
Some families we know will not be able to be helped because their homes are in places that it just doesn't make sense to invest in because they're going to have to tear them down or raise them 12 to 10 feet in the air. So, you know, is that something that we can support? Absolutely, providing there's enough resources to join with our resources to make it happen and make it work.
Right.
So each case will be viewed on an individual basis. We encourage everybody to apply, and if they in fact qualify and we have the funding to help them, our goal is to get the money on the street as quickly as we can.
Gotcha. Now, what are the eligibility standards and criteria to qualify for funding?
Well, first of all, they could be homeowners or renters.
Okay.
They have to have exhausted all other available resources, FEMA, homeowners insurance if they have it. We're not pushing SBA, but we're asking that they suggest that they do that because there may be a grant behind that. And now with the $1.8 billion that New Jersey got from the federal government, there's also some state money that we are asking if those families qualify to try to access that as well. We would like to be the back-end provider. In other words, if a family has exhausted all of the funds and needs another $10,000 or $5,000 to make it whole, to pay for the work that needs to be done, we'd like to meet that. We'd like to make sure those families get that $10,000.
Right.
Our funders and grant makers have said that they will allow us to do that. There's a maximum grant right now of $10,000, but we believe that by putting other resources together within our community, we may be able to help up to $15,000 in some cases and more, depending on what those needs are.
Right.
So we're trying to engage everybody we can, every resource we can find, every funder that has money to put into this effort. We want to make sure that our families are exposed to that and they have an opportunity to get it.
Right. Okay. And like contact information, I know you gave the website.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best channel for folks to reach out to try to get assistance?
Right now it is.
Okay.
And that's only because we've just recently got an office. We've recently hired staff. We have a construction appraiser on staff, super coordinator. We have a volunteer coordinator on staff that we've hired. We have an administrative assistant who will be taking most of the calls, and we expect to hire our case manager coordinator within the next week. So once we're fully staffed and our offices are completely set up, and although we have space, we're painting now, putting in phones, we will make the public fully aware of all that information, and they will be able to access it pretty much on demand.
Right.
To get out and have our case manager, construction appraisers go out and review their situations, along with the volunteer groups that are coming in town, the green shirts in particular, to do assessments so that we can determine who can be helped and to what extent we can be helped.
Right. And again, in this whole process of creating the long-term recovery group and getting to this point, which I know we're all excited about this particular point in time, because now we're really getting to where the rubber meets the road to have all this put in place. And it takes a while to get that funding and get the approvals to be able to spend it and then go out and actually hire folks, which takes time. You need to actually, you know, send out the call for folks to apply and then go through all those applications, which I know is a yeoman's job. But done a great job. I know we're getting there and moving along. So the website, could you tell us the website again, just for folks that want to reach out and contact the Long-Term Recovery Group? OceanCountyLTRG.org. Great.
OceanCountyLTRG.org.
That's great.
And we have folks that are monitoring it on a daily basis. We're starting to get some activity, and we've also actually pulled some cases off that we're now putting into case management for review.
It's great.
So it's starting to work.
I know one of the other issues that we all are concerned about, that as time goes on and, you know, Sandy's come and gone, the event, and, you know, people's, as all of us, our memories start to wane. We know there's going to be continued needs going on long into the future for years to come. So we're always going to be out there. So we want our folks to know that when we go out and ask for more assistance, maybe more donations, that they realize that this is a long-term recovery in the strongest sense of the word, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be years before we're really able to take care of everyone that needs that assistance.
We believe we're 5 to 10 years out.
Okay.
And we believe 5 years is modest, to be very honest with you, and because we've done a preliminary community assessment working with the local municipal officials. The police chief and I jumped in the car about a week ago and looked around, and the devastation is beyond apprehension in many cases.
Right.
And we know that these families, we have families that still have not been back to their homes yet because of various issues. And so we know that when they get back in their homes and they start to assess their own particular situations and how they can start to their recovery efforts, that it will be monumental to them. So that's why it's imperative that our case managers at the LTRG be on hand and put together a empathized approach to helping our families get through. Patience is key here. Right. And you know, we can yell and scream all we like, but if we can't move the system and we bog it down in rhetoric that doesn't get it done, then we haven't accomplished our goals here, which is to get folks back in their homes as quickly as we can with the least amount of headache for them.
Right.
And that's why we've hired staff. We're depending on volunteers. We're working with the pros, the Red Cross, Catholic Charities, United Way, and others who do this on an annual basis to work with our families to help them get through this recovery effort.
Which is great. And again, it takes, you know, I know one of the other committees is communication.
Absolutely.
And that's such a major role in all this, and having the media outlets involved and on our side helping us to get the information out correctly, responsibly, and in a timely fashion is always an important key as well, right?
Without question.
And again, the website is wonderful because that is a place now where folks can go and get information. I know the list of all the organizations that are involved are there, and all the different programs and how to apply and all that information, which is wonderful. Now that, you know, the storm is over, we've all got our power back and all that, people can get onto that website and check it out.
Yeah.
Again, I really want to thank you for your time. Again, working with with the gas company and the years of working together with your organization has been fantastic. And you're a wonderful leader and doing a great job with the Long-Term Recovery Group in Ocean County. And I wish you continued success and all your great efforts. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And our community appreciates it as well.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, you're looking for help with your mortgage. Worried about foreclosure? We can help you keep your house. All we ask for in return is that you submit to our plans for galactic domination. Sign.
If you're facing foreclosure, talk to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
Hello, my name is Tom Hayes, and I'm here with a special edition of Safety Links, where we're going to be talking about Sandy recovery. And I have a wonderful guest with me here today, Linda Giamatti, who's the Executive Director of the United Way of Ocean County, and she'll be talking to us about the Sandy recovery efforts. Welcome. I appreciate you being here, Linda.
Well, thank you for having me.
Certainly. You know, certainly in my role with New Jersey Natural Gas Company, we work with United Way, and I serve on your board and all that. But I really have to say the organization does wonderful work throughout the county, and you are an excellent executive director and have a great team that really does wonderful stuff. I wish the whole community knew as much as I did about all the wonderful things that the United Way does on a regular basis. So you are to be commended for all your great work throughout the county.
Thank you.
It was great. And on top of that, you have this other hat of being involved with the long-term recovery group of Ocean County. So I just, again, applaud you for all your great effort and all the hard work you do, again, for helping the folks of our wonderful county of Ocean County and just making sure that people are getting the assistance that they need when they need it. First of all, I'd like to ask you, in terms of being the executive director of the United Way of Ocean County, what do you find your role in that position?
Well, I think that United Way of Ocean County, the thing that's really great, I think, about United Ways in general is that we mobilize the community. It's about responding to needs in our community, about responding to residents in need, and also about building our communities so that we have a better quality of life for the people who live in Ocean County.
Right, which is great. Now, what does the United Way do in the community in terms of that, you know, responding to that community?
Well, I think that, and I think the reason that we're so uniquely suited to help during recovery and relief efforts is that we do a couple of things. We work with the business community, we work with the nonprofit community, we raise funds to distribute to the highest need impacts in our area. And we do this in a couple of real specific ways, through helping people to give, teaching people what are the different needs, what are the agencies that can respond to those needs, and sharing, asking people to share donations. Advocacy, lend your voice, help us make decisions that will improve our community, and of course volunteerism. And so all three of those issues have become absolutely critical as we move forward in recovery.
Right. Now, it's been 36 years that the United Way has been in place?
Yes, yes, and so I think that's the other piece is that, you know, we're not just a new organization coming in. We're not in response to the storm that's occurred. We have our roots here are in the community. We have been working with this full range of businesses and nonprofits for many, many years, and we're going to be here long after, hopefully, after recovery, when this new normal becomes the real normal, and where people are at least as whole as we can make them.
Mm-hmm. Now, outside of the Hurricane Sandy long-term recovery efforts, the United Way is kind of